Good morning. How are you? I don't give anybody any heads up that I'm doing these live broadcasts, which are few and far between, but I've been told I'm supposed to put out a post letting everyone know when I go live, which sounds like a good plan, but I just don't ever do it. But yeah, how's everybody doing? How's it going out there? Good. Everybody having a good summer? Even though you're in quarantine, depending upon which state you live in? I'm here in upstate New York, and we are moving into phase 4 soon, which means that we should be able to resume some normal summertime activities. Although it just came out recently that amusement parks and some other things are not going to reopen during phase 4 like that. So, hello, welcome from Germany. I'm German, you know. Hammes. I don't know if you know any Hammeses in Germany, but Ancestry.com tells me that's where my DNA comes from. So anyway, the reason I'm here this morning is because I just wanted to share with you some fun stuff. I've been cleaning out some old boxes that I have not opened in probably 20 years, and they're full of beta tapes and VHS tapes of the old drive time and morning drive days if you lived in the Albany area back when we started in the late 90s on WRGB, which is the CBS affiliate here. I was a weatherman, but I also did this car report, which is how this whole crazy career of mine got started 22 years ago. So if I can flip this screen here, which I believe I can. Yeah, so this is one box just full of these old VHS cassettes. And it's funny, I've actually hired Maddie to digitize these this summer. So she just started the other day, and I had to introduce her to this crazy machine, which she was totally unfamiliar with. This is called a VCR, if you're too young to know. And I actually picked this VCR up at a place called, what was it called? It was a Boston-based company that went out of business about 10 years ago. I think it was called Tweeter. And anyway, so it was funny watching her asking me, how do you put these things in here? How do they go? Do they go like this? You know, it was comical. But anyway, so this is an entire box full of these old segments that have never been digitized, that I haven't seen in forever. Some are labeled, some are not. So I don't even know what's on all of these things. But she digitized about 7 of them just a couple of days ago. And I've come across some things that I totally forgot about that I think you guys are going to think are pretty fun, because it seems like the car world is going crazy over old cars these days. And when I say old, I mean, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, models that have been discontinued. Here's the Integra Type R. That might be a fun one to pop in. That was in that championship white color, if I remember correctly. Oh, look at this. Now, there's a good one. Look at that. Back on July 31st of 98, I was driving around in the then new Daewoo Laganza, which I have a funny story about the Daewoo Laganza, because I actually vomited in the back of a Daewoo Laganza after spending a day at the Great Escape amusement park up in Lake George. So that's a great memory to have of the Daewoo Laganza. And you know what? That was really one bad take I had. I'll tell you, if Twitter had been alive in the late 90s, you guys would be killing me, because I predicted Daewoo was going to do really, really well in this country. And that was obviously a horrible take. Here's a Malibu and an Altima. The ones I'm hoping to really find in here are like my favorite cars, like the Via Cross and the Chrysler and Plymouth Prowlers I drove. Not the boring stuff like the Forester S. Nobody cares about that. Buick Regal GS. Yeah, I'm hoping I find the really cool stuff that you guys are going to like. Oh, yeah, like the Quest minivan. Yeah, the ILX, yeah. Does kind of look like that. How far back do the reviews go? The first ones that I did were in January of 1998, and some of them are live segments. Here, I'll flip this back around because you guys are bored of seeing this. But yeah, some of them, we started off doing it as a live segment on the weather patio. So I would be doing weather during the morning, and then they would go to a segment on drive time, or what it was called the morning drive at the time, and then I would go out there and do a live segment. So you'll see some of that. Saab 9.3 convertible. Yeah, I'm just trying to think back to some of my favorites. Oh, there's the Suzuki Grand Vitara. There's got to be some good ones in here, right? Well, anyway, I will find some stuff that you're going to want to see, and I'll try to prioritize that in Maddie's little upload. Oh, there's the Via Cross. Oh, I found it. Hey, take a look at this. I love the Via Cross, man. I really wish I had picked up one of those. Well, that's what I'm going to have to throw in right away. That was good. But you know what's really embarrassing? You know, obviously in any profession, you hope you get better over the years. And I haven't looked back at this old stuff in a while. Man, I was talking like 1,000 miles a minute. I was way too fast. Oh, I have C5 Corvette reviews. Oh, yeah. They're in that box somewhere. So, yeah, it's just embarrassing to look back. You know, you look so young, and I'm talking fast, and my clothes are awful. But I am willing to put that kind of content out on my YouTube channel so I can be made fun of all these years later in the world of social media. I mean, it's a perfect scenario. Because back then, you were kind of isolated, you know? You were just on TV. Nobody really had... They had to send you a letter to make fun of you back then, and that just took too much effort. Oh, that's cool. There's the Via Cross. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you from South Africa. Thank you, Ado. I appreciate that very much. So yeah, this is the job here. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through all these old boxes and Weatherman Day stuff and upload some of this stuff. Look at these fancy little labels we used to have with me in that awful trench coat looking out the window with my eyes all squinty because I couldn't see through the sun. Yeah, this is good stuff. Good stuff. How'd you guys like the Stelvio video? I don't think that was probably going to be of much interest to a lot of people. But it posted last night, so if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, please do. Go over to the channel and check out the Stelvio TI Sport all-wheel drive. So, yeah, so I'm going to start digitizing these, and then I'll probably pick a day every week, like Thursday, because they call that Throwback Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 every Thursday so as not to bog the channel down with just a bunch of old crap that looks really bad. Some of the sound quality on these cassettes, too, is just not very good at this point. But the content started to be digitized in the early 2000s. So this stuff is all like from 98 to probably like 2002 when I took over production from WRGB. That's when they stopped shooting it and I started shooting it on my own. And so then you start to see the video quality improve from there just a little bit as I went through several iterations of cameras and equipment and computers. Yeah. Yeah, Motor Week is doing a great job with those retro reviews, man. Their retro reviews are getting more views than their normal videos, I noticed. And so that's what made me think, maybe that's not a bad idea. I've got all of this content here. I think if there's one thing I can offer that most YouTubers can't, the way I can compete with all of the new kids on the block, is that I've got experience. I've got 22 years of doing 2 cars every week for 22 years. And so I've got all this content that's just sitting here. And now there seems to be a new appetite for it. It seems like people are interested in that older stuff, you know, that you really can't find on YouTube because people didn't start uploading to YouTube until, I don't know, 08, I guess, something like that. YouTube's been around for like 12 years or so. I got in kind of early on the YouTube game, but, you know, then you get old, and then you get boring, and then people start tuning you out. No, it's okay. The YouTube channel's doing fine. We are recovering a bit from the whole COVID situation. You know, if you're a YouTube content creator and you monetize, you know that back when COVID hit, the total bottom fell out of your revenue. Like my revenue was cutting half or more almost instantly. But now, over the past couple of months, it's coming back up to a little bit of a more normal setting. I'd say I'm back to like 75% of where I was beforehand. So hopefully the views and the new subscribers will continue. I'm also going to revamp the page and everything. I've been really lax with that because unlike a lot of the YouTubers, YouTube is not my main source of income or revenue. I'm lucky that I have good paying clients and I'm not relying upon Google because as you can see, your revenue can just go away like that. So, yeah, I want to revamp the channel a little bit and modernize it and make it more regular. Like my YouTube people tell me that I'm supposed to be uploading on a scheduled basis and let you guys know and do this and do that. And so I'm not following all of the proper protocols that could make the channel more of a success than it really is. And so I've got to hunker down and do that this summer. And because as you know, I kind of upload when I upload. I finish a video, and if it's 10:30 at night, I do it, or if it's 6 in the morning, I do it, and I just put it out there, and hopefully people will find it. And that's pretty much how it works. So, everybody doing okay out there? Everybody getting back to a normal life? Any interesting car questions? Anybody going to be tuning into the F-150 reveal tonight online? Anybody interested in the new Cadillac CT4, the CT4V? Because it's funny, during this whole COVID thing, a lot of the vehicle launches, of course, were canceled. I was supposed to be going to Los Angeles for the Hyundai, what was it? The Hyundai Sonata Hybrid. Right before this all hit, and it was canceled at the last minute, and everything's been canceled since. But now the manufacturers are trying something new. The new Kia Sorento. I'll get back to you. The new Kia. I don't really have thoughts on the new Kia Sorento yet. But let me stay to the story for 1 second. So anyhow, the manufacturers are now bringing the vehicles to the journalists for a 24-hour period to replace the launch events that we would normally travel to through different parts of the country. And so next Monday, the new Cadillac CT4V will be here, but only for 24 hours. And so Lance and I are going to shoot that, and then I have a Skype meeting with the Cadillac design and executive team on Wednesday, and then hopefully we can push that video out really quickly. But that's how a lot of these manufacturers are going to start are going to start doing their product launches. And I wonder if even after the pandemic ends, if they won't just stick to that formula, because it's got to be so much cheaper to send me a car than to spend millions of dollars flying journalists in from all over the world and wining and dining us and putting us up in these hotels and everything else. So it might be one of those things that is a permanent change once this all ends. But yeah, the Cadillac CT4V next week. I'm kind of excited about that. Should be fun. And before that, this week I'm driving the new Buick Encore GX, the bigger Encore, but smaller than the Envision. So I haven't driven a Buick in a while. Ooh, someone says. Yeah, well, it's not that bad. It's not great. There's a tease for you. It's not great. Not terrible, not great. And then other cars I have coming up this summer, because I try to jam in a lot of stuff that I can't drive in the winter months up here. So I've got my first drive of the Bentley Bentayga. I know the Bentayga is on the cusp of a redesign, or at least a refresh for the 2021 model year. And here I am just getting into it now, but it took me a while. My relationship with Bentley apparently getting better. So, yeah, there's the Bentayga. There might be a Rolls-Royce down the line. I was told I will be getting the new C8 Corvette. Nothing really happened with the Bentley stuff. You know what happens in this industry? You have a really good contact at a company, and they like you, and they appreciate your work, and you get to know them, and then they go away. There's a lot of turnover in this industry. And so when that happens, what inevitably happens is someone else replaces them, and then they don't either know you or they don't think highly of your work, and then you're cut off from the cars. So if you've noticed, I used to do Bentleys all the time, and then over the past like 4 years or so, haven't done many Bentleys. So, but now they're back. Nostalgic Pontiacs. I've got a lot of Pontiacs. Actually, we just digitized the Pontiac Grand Am Coupe GT1, I believe it was, from 1999. And I have a WS6 with the Ram Air package that I just digitized. So I've got a lot of good Pontiac stuff in there. Have to find that and get that up there. I always wish that I had purchased the G8 GXP before it went out of production. Thought that would have been really cool to have. And I'm also, I sold my my Tacoma pickup truck, my old 2001 Tacoma, which I had put on the YouTube channel a number of times or mentioned in pieces. I finally sold it back in like February or March. And now I'm missing having a pickup truck. So all I'm driving are the press fleet vehicles. And so when I want to go kayaking or biking or anything like that, I really don't have anything to haul that stuff around with on a consistent basis. So I'm actually looking at maybe leasing a Ford Ranger come late summer, early fall. Do you have a contact with Nissan? Oh yeah, my Nissan and I, we love each other. Nissan flew me down to Nashville, if you remember, back in 2017. When was the eclipse? Was that 18 or 17? I think that was 17. Yeah, it was 17. Yeah. Yeah, no, Nissan and I get along really well. I was down in Nashville for the eclipse. That was awesome. I've done GTR events. Yeah, Nissan and I are tight. Everything's good there. But you know what? Frankly, there's not a lot of new Nissan product to test right now. They're coming out with a whole bunch of new stuff over the next couple of years as they try to revive that company. I've seen pictures of the upcoming Z. I mean, other than that, what can I say? It looks kind of cool, and I think it's long overdue, and I'm glad they're doing it. Yeah, there's a new Nissan Z coming out. What are they calling it? The 400? I believe that's what I saw. Yeah, so Nissan's got the new Rogue, that's coming out soon. I've driven the Sentra, I've driven the Altima, I've driven the updated Maxima. I just did a Titan Pro 4X not too long ago, earlier this winter. So yeah, we're keeping up with Nissan. There are some brands that I haven't kept up with as well. Oh yeah, that reveal in July. Yeah, there's a lot of good reveals coming up. Kia's also doing one coming up next month that I've been invited to online, and then they're doing the same thing as Cadillac. So they're going to ship me the vehicle, and I guess I'm going to have it for a shortened length of time, and then they rotate them through because, nobody's flying out to events anymore. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff to keep up with out there right now, that's for sure. And it's kind of hard to keep up with it in the same way we used to, because it is helpful to go to those events and really do a deep dive into these vehicles. And now it's really up to me to really keep up to date with everything, because it's not just right in front of your face. But yeah, so I got some Ford. I'm finally getting into the Lincoln, the Aviator. I'm finally getting an Aviator. The new F-150 I will be online tonight for, as all of you can. It's nothing secret to journalists. It's open to everybody. Infiniti really lost their step. Yes, Infiniti is being reborn now along with the rest of Nissan, and they are going to scale down the number of platforms and the number of models they sell, and they want to be like a Nissan Plus now. They're kind of reinventing the brand. It's been aged. It's been just left to sit too long. I mean, look at the Q70, for instance. I mean, that's all you really need to know right there. So we'll see how Infiniti does. We'll see if they'll come out on the other side. Yeah, the TLX Type S does look good. Yeah, I did a little overview video on that a few weeks ago. Looking good. Number one. Oh, thank you very much, Vaughn. 33. I do like that. Thank you for subscribing. I don't really watch many other YouTube car review videos just because this is what I do all day, and I don't know. There's a couple of guys out there I like that I will occasionally watch stuff from, but I don't really take a look at it too much. Do people really buy those three-row SUVs? They do buy those three-row SUVs for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sales of the SUVs, I mean, if you haven't been following the auto industry, cars are falling by the wayside and it's SUV crazy right now. Every little niche and segment that can be filled is being filled. I do chat with other journalists, but I'm kind of a rogue guy. Yeah, sure. I do chat with other ones. I'm asked here on a personal basis. Sure. Yeah, I've made a lot of, you're doing something for 23 years, just like, you guys in your business or whatever, your industry. Yeah, you make a lot of friends. But I would not say I'm as tight in that community as a lot of other people, just because a lot of people get on that junket cycle and they're always going. So it's on one flight to one, they're there to do those. My videos, are more like in-depth, full week review videos, and I can only do that if I'm home. So I don't spend as much time with a lot of those people, but yeah, a lot of good folks. I like Scott and Chris from Limited Slip Blog, Joe Sage from Arizona Driver Magazine. These are some of my favorite people. I love Charlie Romero from Roadfly, is a really great guy, and he puts out good content. You know what I hate about these? You guys ask good questions, and they come up on my screen, and they fall away as fast as I can read them. I did see a question in there, why do Americans hate wagons? I think because we all, as kids, had to ride in the back of an unair-conditioned station wagon, looking out the rear window and puking. And so those memories take a long time to fade. But I don't, personally, I like wagons. I'm really excited about the RS6 Avant. And although, you know what? Did you guys look at the new E63 wagon, the refresh? Ugh. That did not look good to me. Did not look good at all. I saw a TSX wagon in my neighborhood the other day. Brought back memories. And you know what? I'll tell you what wagon I would buy. And I was surprised. I was looking at their inventory online the other day. The Buick Regal Tour X. I love that wagon. I love how sharp it looks when it comes down the road. And as you probably know, they're out of production. And I looked online for the inventory the other day. There's not one within 100 miles of here. I mean, they must be going fast. So, love that thing. Love that Buick. Sad to see that go. Mid-20s, I've been watching since the Drive Time Yahoo Auto days. Oh, man, thank you so much, Neil. Oh, man, I missed that. Those Yahoo days were great. It's too bad they screwed everything up and went away. The Buick wagon, man, it just looks great. You see that thing coming down the road? Especially like, I like that white color with like the black accents, and there's like a little bit of red in there somewhere in some of the trim. It just looks sharp. I love that little thing, The interior was but it was a fun little drive. Very light. Good little Opel. Yeah. Go to my review, man. Don't just Google it. Just go right there. Yeah, the Regal GS, yeah, it's too bad. I don't know what will become a Buick. I guess it'll just become an SUV brand now that the Opel pipeline is dried up. Yep. You guys have any other questions? I will try to read them quickly here if they come up on the screen. They should have a feature that allows you to... Oh, yeah, I have a review on it. Yeah, I did it right when it first came out. The one I drove was like a brownish color. I shot it up at John Boyd Thatcher State Park. So there should be some good video of that. It's a pretty spot to go this time of year. Yeah. Well, Alfa Romeo Giulia. Yeah, the Giulia is a freaking great car, man. But, what can I say about the reliability? Ah, man, I'm missing these questions. The Frontier. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Frontier. I've always been a big Nissan truck guy. I have to say the Titan's been a little bit of a letdown. Future reviews about the sound quality of the car? The sound quality? Like what sound quality? The way the exhaust sounds? You can swipe the comments up and down? No, I didn't know that. Oh, I can. Oh, wow. That was a pro tip right there. Thank you, sir. I did not know this. I can go back and look. All right, well, let me find a couple of good questions here. I got nothing else to do this morning. The most eye-opening moment in my career. Eye-opening? That's a good question. I don't know if I have any eye-opening moments. Eye-opening. What made me... You know, I guess the most eye-opening thing, and this goes back a ways, is just like, when you go on these junkets, you know, I mean, sometimes you're flying first class, and you're staying in the nicest hotels and eating the best food and the greatest travel in private jets, and I mean, it's just insane. That was eye-opening. You know, I was not expecting that. And so that would be eye-opening. Okay. Mini Clubman is a good wagon, too. It is. The Clubman's good. The Countryman's good, if you want to call that a wagon. I guess it's more like a small SUV. Yes, thank you, Joaquin Lots. You're a boomer learning the Oh, come on now. Don't call me a boomer. I'm not that freaking old. I'm not a boomer. You know, is that just a general term now for anybody that looks slightly old? I'm not like that old. Jeez. Guys are brutal to me on here. $50,000 to spend on a sporty car that can carry 4 people. What do you choose? G70. Or get a G80. They're going out of production. Although I think that might cost more than that. Now where'd the comments go? Oh, there they go. Yeah. More like car sound quality thing, like buying brand new car, but with crappy sound speakers. That's funny. Corolla Type S. Yep. I'm just looking through the comments. Sorry, I'm trying to... And my eyes are not as good as they once were, so there. That speaks right to the whole boomer thing, right? I have to hold the phone farther away. I really appreciate that you test vehicles in the Northeast on our crappy roads. That's true. You know, it's funny. I was at a doctor's office one day, and the doctor said to me, "What do you do for a living?" And it's kind of hard to explain, but you tell him. And he's like, "You test cars here? This isn't a good place to test cars." And I was thinking, man, you couldn't be more wrong. I live in an area where I get 4 seasons. So I can test cars in 95-degree heat like we had here 2 days ago, or I can test cars when it's 10 degrees below zero. I get different scenery for all my videos and everything. I mean, you know, I feel bad. Like, I went to Florida to do that Aston Martin DBS piece, you know, back around the Super Bowl. And I got down there, and I've been to Florida a million times, but I never thought about it. I'm like, there are no roads here. The roads suck. They're all straight. You know, after a while, that same scenery gets a little boring, you know? You know, here's the desert, and that's all you've got. Or here's the beach, and that's all you got. But, you know, up here in the Northeast, man, you get 4 seasons. Now, it's not fun to shoot cars in the winter. I hate it. And I practically can't feel my fingers anymore because they've just become numb to the super cold. But, you know, it's good for business, I think. And it's hard to keep the cars clean. All right, where are the questions? Are you slightly ashamed that your compatriots can't drive stick and buy so many soulless SUVs on 84-month loans? That's a good question. The whole stick shift thing. I am not one of those guys that is just this militant, ardent, you know, you've got to drive a stick or nothing else. I've said that in my pieces a million times. I'm not a save the manuals guy. I don't care. I like driving manuals in the right cars, but I don't need to have it in every car. I'm not going to shame you for not knowing how to drive one. So it doesn't really bother me, frankly. I don't really care. I don't care. 84-month loan thing, yeah, that's bad. Yep, I agree. That is ridiculous. And yes, there is some shame in that for sure. Where exactly are you? Well, I'm in Albany, New York, but I cannot travel up to Canada because we are under a ban. We cannot travel to Canada. That ban's in effect until July 21st. And but I go up to Canada once in a blue moon. Kia Telluride or Hyundai Palisade? I mean, they're the same vehicle. They look different. They are the same exact vehicle. So find some nuance you like, and you will like them equally the same. I don't know. Some people like the look of the Telluride. It looks a little more SUV-ish. I think I'm kind of on that side. The Palisade maybe gives off a little more of a luxury vibe when you look at it. But they're the same exact vehicle. I mean, there's nothing different about those things. Nothing. So, you can't go wrong. Family of 5 with a toddler. Yeah, you'll be fine, Bond 33. What were some of your favorite cars in the 90s? I was talking about that earlier, Neil. Okay, you joined us a little late. The Chrysler Prowler, the Plymouth Prowler, which became the Chrysler Prowler, is my favorite car of all time. I wish that I had purchased one. I test drove 3 for the show. The last one I had was this beautiful Aztec orange Prowler that I drove up to Maine at the time. And man, that car was just so cool. I love that. I think that car still looks cool today. You see one on the road every now and again. Miss that. A Zuzu Via Cross. I just love the weirdness of that thing. Drove one of those down to Atlantic City one late night with a couple of buddies. Had a great time. Fun stuff. Follow up. What's your take on the quality of driver education in the U.S.? It blows my mind how easy and cheap it is to get a license in the States. It's $2,000 to get a license? Where are you? What the? Well, our roads are full of awful drivers. Is that due to a lack of education or our self-centered society that we live in? I'm not sure. But Maddie is getting ready. She turns 15 next month. So we're starting to think about cars. We're starting to, and I can't wait to teach her. I had a really good driver ed instructor when I was in high school. I didn't want to take the class, but my dad made me take it because it would give us a discount on insurance. Gotcha, Germany. But I'm glad I did, and I learned so much there. And then, through the years, I've had a chance to do all these like driving classes and courses and skip barbers and everything else. And so I've learned a lot. And so I want to give that knowledge to Maddie, but man, the roads are just full of, and like I said, I'm not sure if they're bad drivers or just totally self-centered, don't care about anything but me. And so I know I'm doing wrong, but I don't care. I think that's what I see more often. That really bugs me. Yeah, the left lane is just for overtaking. The driving age here is 18. High-speed run on the Autobahn. Yeah, that'd be fun. I missed if you mentioned what car you own. I don't own any more cars. I sold my truck. I sold it. So now I just drive whatever I schedule. No more car. Okay. You guys must hate this thumb thing on the screen, but I'm sorry. Thoughts on the upcoming Ford Mach-E? Did you know I went to an event in New York City, a private event, last November. I was with the Ford Mach-E the day after it was released in LA. I got a video online that hardly anyone's watched. It is a walk around with the design team and everything. Seriously, if you've got like 30 minutes, go watch my Ford Mach-E video. It's really interesting, and it gives you a good walk around of that vehicle. I was down in New York for that with Lance back in November, I think it was. We took the train down. So obviously I haven't driven it yet. But I really liked what I saw when I was there in person. I thought it was great, and I'm really excited about it. And I think that'll do really well. It looked cool. And as for it having the Mustang name, again, I'm one of those guys, I don't care. It's unbelievable how, just outraged some people get. I can't believe they're calling it a Mustang and it sullies the Mustang name and blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I do not get caught up in that stuff. I don't care. Yeah, well, the driving age here is 16. So, Maddie can get her permit at 16. And I think, which is different from when I was a kid, I think there is now a 6-month waiting period in order to get your actual driver license. So I think she needs to go through a 6-month period, which is probably a good thing, because when you think of a 16-year-old's brain, and you know what the other thing is too, is that assuming they're going to be driving their parents' car or maybe a late model hand-me-down or something, today's cars, albeit safer, are a lot more powerful. You know what I mean? Think about some of these engines in these cars and these kids driving them, and they really do need to be trained and not get too comfortable behind the wheel of here's a 500 horsepower car, and no, you can't just drive as fast as you want. You've got to learn how to harness that power and drive it safely. And So I think that's probably a new challenge that wasn't really around when I was driving my 78 Chevy Malibu Classic when I first learned to drive with my 8-track tape and the roof falling in. All right, well, that was 35 minutes of fun. I don't see any new questions on the screen, so I think I've gotten them all. Thank you for that pro tip on being able to see all the comments. I will use that in the future. So, to recap, this box of old video cassettes will be digitized. And then every Thursday, we're going to upload like 2 or 3 of them. And if it goes well and people actually seem to like them, then I'll continue them. If they sit there and get like 500 views and no one watches them, then I will discontinue the effort. But thank you all for stopping in. It was a pleasure chatting with you. I appreciate your support very much. Without you, I'd be doing something else. Thanks. Thanks, guys. Bye.